Hello, hope everything's all peachy. Before we get into it, I've begun streaming on Twitch. Follow me, otherwise I will cry. Today I'm going to show you how to play a good opening, so let's get straight into it. Don't be a degenerate and remember to subscribe. To any newbies out there, I know what you might be thinking. Oh wise one, what the fuck are opening principles? Well my friend, this is how it's all broken down. Step 1 of opening principles, control the center. Now if you're an idiot like me and you don't know what the word center means, it's these squares d4, d5, e4 and e5. The center of the board is pretty much like a gang war. If you don't have your own fair share of territory, prepare to die. So how exactly do you control the center of the board? Well, let's move on to step 2. Step 2, development. If you carry on in your chess career, this is going to be a word that you'll hear a lot. Development is a major factor in chess, and all it means is just getting your pieces out. Obviously, if your pieces are in the original starting position, why are you even bothering to play the game? So the whole point of development is to get your pieces out on active squares. All active means is just where they're doing something. And like I said, you want to be controlling the center, and that's how you know where your pieces have to go. You have to put them on squares that also control some center squares. For instance, this knight on c3, it controls the squares e4 and d5. Preferably, you would want to develop your knights before your bishops. Now, I know your brain can only take so much information, so if you need to play this at half speed, that's completely okay, don't feel embarrassed. Moving on to step 3, castling quickly. If you don't know what castling is, to sum up quickly, the king is a massive simp for the rook. However, what the king doesn't know is that the rook hates it. So now when the king goes after the rook runs away from the king, and thus they swap places. The reason we castle quickly is to keep the king safe. Obviously, if you don't castle as fast as you can, you're going to end up experiencing something like this. Step 4 of opening principles is never move the same piece twice. Now what do I mean by this? Well, let's say you develop a knight to c3. The last thing you want to do is to then put it on b5. The reason this is because you need to spend that move developing your other pieces, otherwise they're going to be very sad. Now, the lower rated players will oftentimes go for some two-piece attack that is often crappy and never actually works. Now I'm sure most of you have seen this position, and a lot of lower rated players go, oh yeah, I'm gonna win their rook. But what they don't realise is that the trade of two pieces for a rook and a pawn is just better for black here, because not only is it an equal trade, but black is also ahead in development, so all white has done is trade off his only active pieces for a rook and a pawn. The fifth and final step we have to having a good opening is don't bring your queen out too early. Now this is an infamous thing that lower rated players do, because obviously they all go for the scholar's mate and bringing the queen out early to try and get this trap. However, if you know what you're doing, it never actually works. The reason this is so bad is because by bringing the queen out, you're allowing your opponent to get development and attack your queen. Obviously, you can't let them take your queen, so you have to keep moving your queen. All the while, your opponent is just getting more development in. Therefore, don't bring your queen out too early, boys and girls. If you do, I hate you. So to sum it all up, all you need for a good opening is to follow these 5 steps. 1. Control the center. 2. Develop your pieces. 3. Castle and get your king safe. 4. Never move the same piece twice in the opening. 5. Never bring your queen out too early. If you don't follow any of these steps, please stop playing chess and just close the video, mate. There's really no point. Anyway, that's going to be it for today's video. Make sure you leave a like, subscribe. I've got nothing else to say, so I'm going to end it right here.